Welcome to your Wellspring Wednesday. My name is Sara, a certified trauma recovery coach with Full Circle Wellspring. There is no one-size-fits-all healing process designed for trauma survivors. The truth is, each of us has to individually tap into our inner wellspring to find a regimen that works. These episodes are dedicated to finding, exploring, and using those inner resources that I believe all survivors have in order to live their best healed life. Let's get started. Today's topic is stagnation. Learning to love yourself is exactly that, a learning process. But accepting yourself as you are in this exact moment, in this exact part of your healing journey, that is the secret sauce. No matter how far you've come, or how far you think you should have come by now, none of that matters to your true self. Your authentic self only cares about the effort that you put in, the work that you're currently doing, and it is proud of who you are right now. You can remember that this whole trauma recovery road is a process. Because of that, there's going to be times where you feel like you're flying through this growth thing, and then times when you feel stagnated. I heard something powerful this week on Glennon Doyle's podcast from her guest Chanel Miller, who's a trauma survivor. She was talking about feeling stuck. And Glennon asked her, she said, so that's what you're saying. You bring it back to yourself. All these things were happening. You were swept up. So going to that art class, was that your way of insisting that you were still there? And Chanel replies, insisting that I'm still there and that things are still changing. Because when you're in your past, you feel like you're stuck. So it helps you have to look at the small changes. So it's even helpful if you go on a walk. If you walk the same loop in your neighborhood every day, I would challenge you to look for certain factors that are different each time that you walk. You have to know that life is in motion, she says, and that it's impossible to get stuck, even if you feel that you are. Art is what forces me to pay attention to these smaller changes. Art also helps me because when I create these creatures or people, I create really whimsical, odd landscapes and beings. So I think about how if I'm about to put down my pencil and mute myself and not do anything at all, if I'm to give up on myself, I would also be giving up on all of them. Protecting the things that I make is non-negotiable. That helps me respect myself and my work. So then Glennon's wife, Abby, answers, oh my gosh, the beautiful metaphor here is that everyone has an interior world. Some of us don't know how to draw or create beings, but we have an internalized space that if we don't get it out of ourselves, then we are only actually living in our past and not able to create a day or create something that can save us or heal us. That is so effing amazing. So sometimes as survivors, we feel stuck in our world, but the beauty is that the world is always in motion. Time is going to continue to tick. If you take a moment to notice, nothing is stagnant. No matter how slowly something is moving, it's still moving. A rock could be planted down heavily in the soil, but the earth itself is rotating. So technically, therefore, the rock is rotating also. The same air that's around that rock this second is now a different bubble of air around it right this next second. So like Chanel said, it's impossible to be stuck even if it feels like you are. The work that you have inside of you, whether it's focusing on your trauma recovery, advocating for other survivors, creating anything from art to writing a book, sharing your story with a stranger, becoming a more present parent, learning self-compassion, whatever it is, that's your work. So if you want to choose, yes, because it is a choice, if you want to choose to not show up, to not participate in your calling, to not pick up your pencil and create whimsical characters, then you're choosing to not actively participate in the movement and the growth of the world around you. It doesn't mean that the world stops spinning or that time quits ticking along. It just means that you're left living in your past. But what's beautiful is that at any moment, the opportunity to rise out of it and participate in your healing and growth is available to you. And you can rejoin the already set in motion reality of the present moment. So this is just food for thought for you today. I'm still chewing on this myself. I just think it's a great opportunity to discuss how we heal and how we grow and how the work never ends, even when we don't feel like showing up. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, so please reach out with comments or questions. As a trauma recovery coach, I think it's important to share impactful things with curiosity and then see how it lands for my clients. So I guess for today's episode, I'm kind of seeing how it lands with the entire interweb community of survivors. So on a final note, accept yourself wherever you are in your journey. Respect your progress. Share your insights. Keep going, even when you feel stuck, even if it's doing something very small or just taking a moment to celebrate something small that you did. Love yourself no matter how slow it's moving. Keep that momentum going. You aren't stuck. Nothing is stagnant. Practice makes progress, and you're doing amazingly well. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Trauma Survivorhood. This has been written and created by your host, Sara, a trauma recovery coach. For more info about me, trauma recovery resources, or to check out our support groups, classes, free survivor circles, private coaching, and more, visit www.fullcirclewellspring.com. Schedule a complimentary 20-minute discovery call to see if coaching is right for you. For the latest info on schedules and updates, follow us on Facebook at Full Circle Wellspring. All other media, social links, blogs, and show notes are posted in the episode guide below. Until next time, be well, survivors.